I'm Andrew Neinaber. I'm the stage director for King for a Day here at Opera Orlando. I was here in March of 2020 directing The Daughter of the Regiment when the lockdowns hit, and we interrupted the production just under a week of rehearsal and had to go home. So this is actually sort of a way of getting some closure on that, of finishing off what we started those couple of years ago before the pandemic hit. So it's really great. This is my second show back after lockdowns, and it's wonderful to be able to get back in this building with this wonderful company and finish what we started. Well, hopefully this will be like no other production of King for a Day you've ever seen. But I think the biggest thing that we're going for with this production is we are using a technique that I've used in other productions in the past, which is taking the opera off of the stage and putting it in the audience. The singers will be moving through the audience. They will be interacting with the audience in limited ways. Don't worry, nobody's going to pull you on stage or make a fool of you. But the opera is very much up close and personal, and it gives the audience a chance to experience something that we get to experience all of the time in rehearsals, which is the power of an operatic voice right next to your head belting out music. It's something that I think you really have to experience once in your life if you are a true opera fan, and it's an experience that people don't get very often. Yeah, comedy is my home. It's where I feel most comfortable. I do love doing more dramatic pieces and things with a stronger message, but at the end of the day, doing a silly comedy with people falling down and yelling at each other is just where I feel most comfortable. I'm really looking forward to coming back to something like that after so many years away, and just putting that hat back on and living in it for a couple of weeks. Verdi was actually a big part of my career. I've never directed a Verdi opera before. This will be my first time. But I was an assistant director for La Traviata about 5,000 times during my early career. So Verdi has always sort of been there. It was my second ever directing gig, or assistant directing gig rather, was assisting on a La Traviata. So Verdi's always been there for me, and part of the joy of Verdi as an assistant is that it gave me a chance to learn how to work with choruses, especially. The first act of La Traviata is a masterclass in how to stage a chorus and give them life and keep them moving. And getting to work on that so many times really made me comfortable when it came time for me to work with a big chorus myself. That's a really tough one. Stage directors very consciously try not to imitate one another. We certainly do, whether it's intentional or not. As I said, I worked as an assistant director for about 10 years before taking over the duties myself. And those 10 years, almost every director that I worked with taught me something, if not everything. And I feel bad that I'm not going to name any of them right now because I don't want to leave anybody out and make anyone feel bad. But if you're out there and I ever assisted you, I learned something from you, and I really appreciate everything you've done to get me to where I am today. More than anything, it's just getting back into doing comedy. I'm so excited about it. This is my second show back since the pandemic. My first was a Carmen that I did just last month. And that is not a comedy. This is going to be like a breath of fresh air, like a bit of a relief after something big and heavy and tragic like Carmen. I just love to play. I love to play in rehearsal, and comedy lets you do that. And this is really going to feel like coming home for me. I'm really excited to get to play in this world.